Hello guys, welcome to another video of Compare Videos 2. My name is Marcus239 and I'm one of the owners of Kutu.org, a community based on COH2 that is pretty much the biggest community on the game. I decided to start this video series not to show you any specific game, but to talk like a vlog. I would like to share some of my experiences on the game and tell you some of my ideas on how the game could be improved in the future. So, as you probably noted, a few days back, Relic announced the roadmap for Compare Videos 2. And they decided to share with the community a lot of ideas, a lot of what they are currently working on right now. So I thought that it would have been a good idea. To actually start a video series telling you what are my ideas on how the game should proceed, given also my position in the community, which are also going to be the ideas that I'm going to propose Relic for how I think the game should evolve in the next future. Just to clarify, I want to try to please all of my audience in this video. So the first part of the video is going to be in English. When we finish that, I'm going to make another video talking about pretty much the same things, but in Italian. So feel free to just watch this one if you are English and not care about that one. If you're Italian, of course, it's just easier for you to check the other one. So today I decided to talk about leaderboards and links. Leaderboard is a feature that was present in the first Compare Videos game in the form of a list of all the top players. Actually, all the players in the game were listed in the leaderboards of Compare Videos 1. Divided, and the leaderboards were divided into levels. So each player could have a level between 1 and 20. And there were various stats available, like the highest track with a faction, the biggest number of games played, the highest number of games played. So things like that. It was an interesting feature because, in my opinion, it provided a motivation factor for all the players to keep playing not just ranked games, but also basic games, since also basic games were affected by levels. There were various levels, again, from 1 to 20. And it was also a rewarding system for which, if you played well and enough, you were granted points and new levels. The way the system was built in Compare Videos 1 was such that, at least in the first version, the one I really appreciated the most, was that the more if you won enough games, you were given a certain level, a new level. But if you were losing games, you could have even be demoted and lose levels. So the system was made so that your level would have been sort of a reflection of how good you were in the game with a certain faction. In CH2, we all know all the issues that Relic had in the Compare Videos 2 development, and we know that due to Sega, due to the THQ problems, Relic could not really finish the game and produce all the features they would have loved to make. So leaderboards were implemented, but they were like they are now. It's just a website that just shows what's inside the Relic server database. It shows players' position in the ladder, the top 200 players' position in the ladder for each faction and each game mode, but that's just that. There is no level system, there is no rewarding for you being top. And I think that really removed a big motivational factor for players to keep playing the game every day. It was personally, it was one of the best reasons for me to play the game, competing to get the level 20 as Americans in 2v2 back in CH1. So I believe that leaderboards have a strong impact on the player base and on players' motivations to keep playing the game every day. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a proposal to Relic, sharing some of ideas that I have. Kinda like we did with the observer mode. I know that a lot of people know that we worked with Relic to make the observer mode. And I think it was a great feature. Maybe it's still not perfect, but it's like one of the best features made for Company Views 2 so far. And props to Relic first and foremost to really give us a lot of trust, getting our feedback, and so I'm really glad that we made that feature. So I'm looking forward to like hopefully work together with them again to make also leaderboards and leagues. So let's summarize the facts that we know so far. We know that Relic is going to make a lot of improvements in the game, optimizations, new faction, and others, but among them there is a leaderboard system. We don't know any details about that, besides the fact that it's going to be leaderboard. So what I'm going to say now is just my personal idea. It's in no way anything that Relic is going to implement in the game. So it's just how I would do that feature. So and I even wrote some notes. So if you sometimes you see me looking at the monitor instead of the camera, is that because I'm reading some of the notes that I wrote so far. So as I said, I believe that Company Viewers lacks a strong motivational factor to keep playing the game, Company Viewers 2. And this also causes two main issues. First one is that there is not much reason to compete for the game outside the seldom sporadical events that we create for the game to keep it sort of competitive. But that's just it. There is no other reason to keep playing the game at a competitive level. On the other side, there are really not many motivations to keep playing the game at lower levels, because outside from like having fun, which is of course the basic factor, you don't want to play a game you don't have fun playing. So having fun and playing with friends, outside that there is no real motivation to play. There is no real reward from the game to players to keep playing the game. So what I'm going to suggest Relic to do is enhancing the leaderboard concept and implementing a league system, divided hopefully in seasons, a season of 6 months or 1 year. I believe that a league system would have a great and very positive impact on the game for many reasons. First off, a league system, perhaps divided in tiers, so for example, bronze, silver, platinum, diamonds. I'm just taking the names I know from other games, but it could be everything. It would provide a lot of flexibility for developers when they attempt to please each and every category of gamers, offering them unique rewards. For example, if you are bronze, you unlock a certain set of decals, skins, faceplates, icon or avatars in the leaderboard. If you're silver, another set. If you're gold, another set, and so on. That would also help tourney organizers and events organizers, because so I speak in like first person, because that would allow me to create and host different events based on on players positioning in the league. So I would be able to actually create tournaments only for bronze players or silver players or gold players. Why is that so important? It's so important for a very simple reason. A lot of players do not compete in tournaments because they are sure they have zero chances to win. That's very sad. That is true, but it's also very sad because if a tournament is made, if tournaments are made only for top players, you are really taking away a lot from the highest majority of the community, because the highest majority of players of every game are not competitive players, are just casual gamers that play on weekends when they have time, when they don't have to work, when they want, basically. They're not players that play like every day, 3-4 hours per day or even more. So it would be really sad if, while Relic is developing this feature, they don't look also at that big category of gamers. So I think that having this flexibility would allow us to create, for example, tournaments only for bronze players, only for silver players. That would, this thing itself would add a lot of flexibility for us, but also for players, because players would feel they have a chance to win. A tournament made only for bronze players, it would allow them to have a real chance to win, because there's not going to be any Jesulin or Lovenest or MG-Pop. It's going to be just players that have your similar skill level. And that's all. That would really increase, in my opinion, the number of players taking part in tournaments. As long as, of course, as long as there is a support system with rewards for players that participate. Kind of like the Make War Not Love rewards. I'm sure it wouldn't take that much to Relic to make a dedicated decal pack or skin pack for players that take part in those tournaments. But besides that, Relic announced that they want to work on a user-generated content system. So they want users of CH2 to be able to make their own content. That would also allow us, tourney organizers, to create the content and the rewards for the players. So let's say I organize an event for silver players. I could create a skin pack, a decal pack, private, and share the link only with those that are actually the winners of that tournament. So they would be the only ones having that, assuming that the system is made this way. Besides that, as I said, a league system would provide players a strong reason to play, but not just to play, to improve and to progress in the game, because it would reward the player base with something that would be recognized as achievement. If I'm winning a lot of games and I'm moving from silver to gold, it's gonna have an impact, because players would look at me like, oh look, that's a god player, he got his achievement. At the same time, I'm going to look at diamond players as those who are the best players around, despite their tournament results. Right now there is nothing like that. A top 200, you can just see the top 200 players, but you don't really know who are the best around, who is just spamming games, and there is just zero reward for being top in the ladder. If it was like, just consider this small point. Only on Cthulhu.org we have like 3 small medals for being first, second, and third in the ladder. There is Nothing else like that. And even in the official leaderboards on the official website, there is nothing like that. So there is basically zero reward right now. And as many free rewards Relic can offer players, the better it is. I also believe that if a league system is implemented in game, then Relic should really consider the idea of changing the way the matchmaking system works. One of the main frustration moments for players that play the auto match system, that play ranked games, is that they are often matched against players that are way stronger than them or way worse than them. If I play against someone who is way worse than me, it's going to be an easy stomp for me and an easy win. If that happens very often, which I think is the case right now, because I don't think there are that many players playing ranked games right now. If that happens that often, the whole elo system is going to get weird, because I'm going to get a lot of points and like super good stats by just beating bad opponents, and then when I get into a tournament, I get like stomped by someone else who is like better than me, but he doesn't play that much, or he didn't play against that many like worse players than me. So like the result of all that is that player stats won't mean anything at all, because they are too inconsistent due to the way the matchmaking system is made. A consistent... Wait a second, sorry. Oh, blah. Put myself offline on Steam. A consistent system is one that doesn't allow players that are too high in the rank to play against players that are way worse, just for the sake of finding you a match. Now, of course, Relic has to find a compromise between a fair matchmaking system and a matchmaking system that works and lets you play games. So my suggestion on that is that a league and another benefit that a league system would bring is that a league system could be made so that if you are on a certain range, like if you are a silver player, you should be able to play only against silvers, bronze, or gold. So just one tier, one league difference, one tier difference. But you should never be able to be matched against platinum or diamonds players. Never. Does it mean the matchmaking system would increase? Would find matches slower than before? Yes, that would find matches slower than before. At least in theory. Would it be more fair? Yes, it would be. But let's think about that. If the matchmaking system is more fair and the league system and the leaderboard system is implemented in the game, you are going to provide that motivational factor we talked before, that is going to get potentially a lot more players participating in the everyday matchmaking system, that are going to play a lot more games, and a lot more players are incentivized to play if there are more rewards on the way, if there are more rewards for playing the game. So I believe that, even though I have no data to back that up, I really believe that a well-designed leaderboards and league system would compensate for the change on the matchmaking system in a way that loading times would be pretty much the same. If Relic is able, like Relic has a lot of, I think Relic has the tools available to them to see if that's going to be the case. But I think it's worth that. It's worth testing. It would really like help us as players and them as developers to have a much healthier community. Yeah, an healthier community. So let's move to another aspect of the league system. I think clarity is an aspect that the current leaderboards are really lacking. Clarity in two main things: the way the elo system works and the way the decay system works. First off, is the decay system even active at all anymore? Is it still active or not? Because I don't think it's active. I don't see anyone dropping from their positions. If it is, maybe they changed it, because I see always the same names in the top 10, even of players that are not really playing a lot anymore. But if it's working, I don't think it's working that well, because it's like, if it's going to work as it worked before, like you lose 4% of your elo each week you don't play, something like that, that's not going to work well. It's just too punishing. So I have a few ideas on how this system should be made. First off, about the elo, I know that a lot of companies do not like to share the elo of your of each player, because, you know, players are a bit mean sometimes, so they're just going to bring discussions saying, oh look, I have higher elo than you suck, your elo means not, your elo is lower than mine, that my ideas are better than yours because of that. So I understand that they don't want to share the exact number. On the other side, a league system brings developers the flexibility required to offer a more balanced system that will still differentiate players based on their skill. Of course, a diamond player and a bronze player are going to be very different. One is going to be like a top player and who plays a lot the game. The other one is going to be a casual player who doesn't play the game that much. He plays that just for fun, and maybe not even so many games. But still, it's going to have an impact in how the elo is perceived, because it's still going to give some feedback on a player of how good he is. And if the elo system is implemented with in conjunction with a point system, so like for example, the way the League of Legends system works, with a point system from 0 to 100, when you reach 100 points, you have a chance, you can play your promotion games to get into the next tier. So for example, if I am Platinum 1, I can play a best of 5 when I reach 100 points to get into Diamond 5, because it's like Platinum 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, Diamond 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and so on. So I think that's gonna also provide a good feedback on how much would it take for a player to go to the next level, to get to the next tier, or even to get the next position. If I want to get like I don't know, let's say I'm in Diamond in Company Heroes 2. I want to get the first position with the points-based system, where of course at the top there won't be anymore that 0 100 points, but it's just going to be it just would be an incremental system. I would at least know how many points it would take me to get to the top spot. While now it's just, we have no idea. We just play, and then we rank up, and then we get positions. It's so frustrating and unsatisfying because we have zero idea on how much it takes to get to the next level. And that applies also to CH1. CH1 had the same issue. The only thing that compensated that was the level system. Like, I'm one of those who really really experienced the frustration of this system. I spent like 3 years battling with 1 or 2 other players to hold the level 20 in 2 versus 2 as Americans. And it was so frustrating because you never knew how many games you needed to get back to the first spot. Sometimes it was just 1, sometimes it was a lot of games. Sometimes you lost a game and then you needed like 50 games just to get back to that position. It was insane. And I would never want to see that anymore happen in the game. It was so... There was zero clarity. It was super frustrating. And I had no idea how much it would have taken me to get there. So I would want a system that has a lot of clarity, that players could understand. So I would want Relic to make a system that help players to understand how far they are from each other, how many points between me and you, how far they are from the next level, how many points I need to get to the next tier, next level, and a general improved clarity, which would make everyone happier and even more satisfied by playing the game. About the decay system, I think the decay system has to be in the game, but in a different form compared to how Relic implemented it in the first instance. I think the way they implemented it like a year ago was a bit too punishing. How I would do that? I would actually have no decay in the game for the first tiers: bronze, silver, gold. No reason to implement a decay system, because they are still medium levels, medium to low levels. For platinum and diamonds, or however they want to call them, really, I would implement a not really punishing system, a system for which, like, if you don't play for 1 month, then after the first month you don't play, each week you lose, like, if we talk on a basis of 100 points between each league, each week you would lose 5 points, which is not that much. So that would actually require 10 weeks to lose from 100 to 0 points in the same league. And 10 weeks is like, plus the first month, is like if you don't play for 4 months, you can actually drop from diamond to platinum. That's not that big deal. You would still be able to get back. On the other side, if you are diamond, for example, you would lose 10 points for each week you don't play after the first month of you not playing the game. So yeah, that would be more punishing, but not everyone can be can be top player. You have to be active in the game to be top player. I think that system would be a fair system, because it would have a fair amount of reward for you to playing the game, and also, let's not call it punishment, but if you don't play the game, it's fair that you get down a bit if you don't play it for a long time. It doesn't make any sense to me that someone who played like 100 games and is level top 1, so he's the first in the ladder with a faction, he stops playing entirely, and then it takes like 2 months for another player to take first spot back, just because that guy played so many games that he was able to achieve a huge elo that no one could reach, if not in 2 months. So it makes a lot more sense to me, a more flexible system that also allows players to climb the ladder faster. On the other side, I also believe that the ladder system, the ladder system as it was made, also in CH1, was a bit too stagnant. Stagnant, I think it's the right pronunciation. Why? Because when you reached the top, it was, and you were like moderately active, you were going to stay in the top forever. No way you were going to change. And if a new player, a freshly, like a newcomer, one who wanted to play, let's take as example Lollipop. When Lollipop came in CH1, he was no one. He started playing the game. It took him like months to be able to climb the ladder that was full of thousands and thousands of players who had occupied the first 1,000 spots with hundreds of games. So it took him a lot of time to climb the ladder. So I believe that there should be seasons, and each season should last between 6 months and 1 year. I think 1 year would be better because the way the game it is, like, this is not a game where you can play more than 10, 15 games, 20 games if you want to exaggerate per day, because of how it's made. I'm going to talk about this, the reason because you cannot play too many games per day in another video. But like, the maximum number of games I was able to play in CH2 in one day was about 15, something like that. In CH1 I was able to play 54 games in one day. And there is a reason for that. And it's not just because people got better in CH2, but it's because of how the game works. But that's not the matter of this video. Today we are going to talk about ladders. So as I was saying, seasons. A season could bring a lot of benefits for both players and developers. First and foremost, it would allow developers to implement new changes, change the map pool, and even adjust and improve certain maps between each season. So when a season ends and a new one begins, like, improves the game with a big patch, like a big year's patch, the biggest year's patch. It would allow Relic to implement new content, even sell new content. So that could be like a good moment to do that. And it would allow Relic to even reward all those players that were active during the year and who showed to be loyal to the game. Quite like the make war not love concept. So that have you played during this season? Then we are going to reward you. How much have you played? Have you played to get diamond? Then we are going to reward you more. Have you played till bronze? Then we are going to reward you a bit less. But not in the sense that the bronze rewards have to be worse than diamonds rewards. No, because that would mean that Relic wants to promote only better players, while we know that the majority of the player base is not top players. No, just that, like, I don't know, the diamond badge faceplate might be shinier, look better, like, just be shinier than the one of bronze. That's all. But at the same time, they could provide decals, like decal of a season 1 of CH2, or skin packs, stuff like that. Besides, I mean, outside the or like the rewards of the tiers, basically. So at the end of the season, where have you been placed? Were you bronze? Then you can unlock those rewards. A full pack containing bronze skins, bronze faceplates, bronze decals, and eventually something else like avatar in game, assuming there's going to be an avatar, or something like that. So I think it's it would be a good way to also shaken the ladder, because if you at the start of new season, everyone starts again from the same point. I'm talking about a soft reset of the stats, not a hard reset. So players should keep all their achievements, or their levels, or their all of their old stats for the last seasons, for the previous seasons. But then new season, 0-0. You start with 0-0, and then you have to play again your placement matches, and your heal, of course, should be soft resetted in a way that it's not as high as it was before, but still higher than the one of a player who was below you. And then those placement matches would help you getting placed in a league, and then you would start competing for the following year. I think that would be a fair system that would also motivate players to continue playing. Because if I reach the first position in the ladder, what keeps me wanting to play if not another player who tries to get my position? When I reach the top, I'm not going to play the game anymore if there's not something that's gonna shake the situation in the form of another player or a soft ladder reset. So I think that could be like a nice way to see things. On the other side, let's assume that I'm playing the game, I'm having like for 1 year I'm not having good internet, or I'm not lucky, I'm playing with bad teammates, and I'm not able to get out of a certain league, like not able to get out of Silver League. Then the next season I have a chance with a soft elo reset, I have a chance to get my elo higher and then get higher in tier. And one last suggestion that I have for Relic is a Factions Mastery. It's a new feature that I've seen Riot Games is going to implement in League of Legends. I'm taking League of Legends as example because it's one of the games I play the most outside company videos. It's one of the games that I think was able to please the majority of the players, so not just casual gamers, but also hardcore gamers and top players. And since they are the biggest game around, and probably the highest income from the game, they can really experiment a lot with new features that other games do not have, or do not have at the same quality level. So taking from as example the Champions Mastery feature, I think Relic could implement a Factions Mastery feature. Basically what it is, when you finish a game of Company Videos 2, you get rewarded for a certain amount of points based on how well you played, like your map control, your units preservation, the damage you caused, and so on, the territories you were able to capture, and so on. If you won or lost. So each time you play a game, you earn a certain amount of points. With those points, you can unlock new levels of Factions Mastery, so that you are rewarded for playing the game. The cool thing about that is that Faction Mastery would not be linked with just ranked games, but with every game mode. So I could be playing 1 versus 1, 2 versus 2, 3 versus 4, 3 versus 3, 4 versus 4, against humans, against AI, in the campaign, in theater of war, every game mode. I would be awarded with these points that would just tell others how confident I am with, not how good I am, but how confident I am with that faction. That would really be a big motivation factor for all the players in the game, no matter how good they are, to play their beloved faction. I love Soviets, I love Germans, I love Wehrmacht. I'm going to play that faction, and if I play it a lot, I'm going to get new mastery levels. What are they going to do with these mastery levels though? They would be shown in game, or they could unlock certain rewards for players, and for example, they could allow you to get even cosmetic bonuses. I think that we are going to reach the point where Relic would allow players, and where Relic would build like custom skins also for infantry. That's what I hope for. If that's going to be the case, there is no reason for Relic to not make like custom unit skins when you reach the highest level of mastery with Soviets. Quite like they did with Dawn of War 2. Do you remember with Dawn of War 2, the more they made a similar system. The more you played, the more cosmetic things you were unlocking on your soldiers. So that explorers were at the end of the game were wearing coats. They were looking a lot better. Same for Space Marine, for Marines, of Space Marines, pretty much for all the units. So I think a similar system could really be implemented in the game. It's not even something Relic didn't do in the past. They did that with Dawn of War 2, and if enhanced, could work very well with Company of Heroes 2, to be a motivational, another reason to keep playing the game. So to summarize, because we are at the end of the video, I think a leaderboard system is a great thing that Relic is going to add, and I would really like if Relic made it like the best way possible. So what I would like Relic to do is including a league system into a leaderboard system with different tiers, like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond to start with, and to create a season system for which at the end of each season, for example of 1 year, you would be rewarded with certain things like skins, decals, faceplates, and so on, based on how you end up, on which tier you end up. I would also like the matchmaking system to be adjusted. So that was the first thing. Second thing, I would want the matchmaking system to be adjusted in a way that you would not be able to play against, if you are silver, you should not be able to play against anyone else that is one tier. There should be just one tier difference between you and your opponent. So if you're silver, you should be able to play only against bronze, silvers, and gold. If you're gold, only against silver, gold, and platinum. If you're diamond, only against diamonds and platinums. Not more. Not else. And I believe that a leaderboard system, a league system, and this matchmaking change would be able to get a lot of players playing the game in ranked, and it would compensate for the fact that just this change alone would increase the time players would take to find the game. Because right now it's like an incremental system for which if I'm waiting for like more than X minutes, then the system is going to take a wider range, is going to look at wider ranges of elo that are not even close to mine. Third thing, a league system with different tiers allows us to create specific tournaments for those players. So a bronze tournament would have a lot of players. I think a lot of players would sign in a bronze tournament because they would feel like they have a chances to win. Right now in a 1v1 tournament, if there is a Jazzulin, a Loveness, a lot of players won't even sign in because they know they are going to win. They have no chances to win the game. It's just going to be the same 3-4 players competing for the first spot, so they won't even take part in the tournaments. On the other side, this means that having a tournament just for those lower skilled players, lower tiered players, would mean they have a chance to win the games. While right now the system is just really inconsistent. Fourth thing, clarity. I think the game should have an elo system easy to understand and easy for players to interact with. So I would want a system with points, a league system where elo is still present, but there are also points that, for example, from 0 to 100, that would tell me how far I am from the next player, how far I am from the next level, and a general clarity level to help me understand how the system works. On the other side, I also think the decay should be adjusted, and I said to be less punishing as it was before, but still present in the game. And at the end, for fifth thing, I already said seasons with rewards, so faction mastery. So the more you play a faction, the more things you can unlock for the faction, cosmetic things. For infantry, for base HQs, I think Relic didn't even consider the idea of touching the buildings in the game, the base buildings in the game. And I believe that it's not going to be hard to take the model of the Soviet HQ and add as some small refinements or cool things to add if you play more the game, even like radio tower or other nice things to see. And that also applies on units. I don't think it's that hard to take the model of a unit, so the uniform of a unit soldier, and add some badges, nice things, some more details that would still make the unit recognizable as that specific unit. So a conscript squad would still have to look like a conscript squad, but just better. And I think that faction mastery should be applied to all the game modes and all the factions, no matter how which game mode you play, if you play against human and AIs. So together with the rewards you would get with your placement at the end of a season, if you're bronze, silver, gold, and so on, there should be also these kind of rewards that are aimed for all the players, despite what tier or league you are, but they just depend on which faction you play. One thing I didn't say was related to the decay system. No, I already said that, everything, I think. So guys, I think that's pretty much it. I'm going to wrap this up. You will find various links in the description of the video. I hope you enjoyed the video and you even and I hope you are going to start a discussion with me under this video in the comments, so that if you have more suggestions on how you would like things to be, write this down, and I can even I could propose them to Relic if they are good changes, good things to propose. And if you didn't do that, subscribe to my YouTube channel and put a like, but that's just a plus. You're not forced to do that. It's just if you like my channel. And I think it's all. Yeah, it is all. I really hope that Leaderboards feature would be a big feature, very top quality and complete, like we did with the observer mode, which is still not perfect, but it's like a very well designed feature in my opinion. And I see you next time. Bye.